Hello, live from the Command Center. It is the Command Center, episode 8 of the podcast. Can't believe we're already at episode 8. I'm so happy, so excited. And it is a good time to be a Commanders fan. The Washington Commanders, your Washington Commanders, are 1-0 on the season. We're going to discuss all about that in today's episode. But first, just want to say thank you to everybody for listening, tuning in. You might notice some of my skin showing more than usual. I went to shave the other day, but I accidentally shaved too much, so now I got the baby face popping back out. I got the microphone, so lucky it covers most of it. I'm not used to seeing this much of my face, but yep, happy to be making a new episode. I want to apologize for some of the technical difficulties. We filmed a Cardinals preview episode on last Saturday, and I was planning on uploading it before the game, and then YouTube just decided to give me all sorts of problems, constant issues uploading it every day. I was very frustrated. I could not get it up until Wednesday. Hoped, because I did give my schedule predictions there, said we were going to go 9-8. Now 1-0. My mindset's just we're winning the Super Bowl. Just kidding. But yeah, still got that episode up there. But today, filming in this on the 16th, Saturday, one day before Washington takes on the Denver Broncos in week 2 of the NFL season. Gonna have it up today no matter what. Gotta have this episode up before the game is played tomorrow. But hope everybody is good. You might notice I'm wearing a jersey. You might be thinking, Joe, what kind of jersey is that? Rutgers University football jersey. They play in about 45 minutes, so after the podcast, I'm going to be watching that. Had to represent. That's where I go to college. Love that. You can listen to me there on 88.7 FM or WRSU.org. I'll be calling a football game for them in 2 weeks, the radio station, so very excited for that. But yes, this is all about the Commanders. What a start to the season. Let's start off with some Commander news, folks, before we go into the breakdown, because I got a lot to talk about. So, on Sunday, 9-10, September 10th, the Washington Commanders took on the Arizona Cardinals in their first game of the season, and as everybody seemed to predict, they won. They won 20-16, a lot closer than many anticipated, which we will talk about in the next segment, but they got their first one of the season. In the process, Jartavius Martin, the rookie safety, the second-round pick, suffered a concussion, so he will be out against the Broncos. But a huge win for the Commanders, so much to talk about. The fan base was excited, passionate. It was awesome, electric to see. I'm thinking I might have to go out to Washington to see a game, even though it's like 4 hours away. But just a fun time to be a member of the fan base and a lot going on. We'll talk more about that game in our next segment, where I watched all the film, although all 22 coaches filmed for that, so I've got a lot of notes, a lot to talk about. And then also some news now for next week. Well, tomorrow, Chase Young, he has the neck stinger. He did not play week 1. He was projected to play week 3. He is healthy, active, cleared, and he will be playing this Sunday against the Denver Broncos. A huge return for this Washington defense. They need that second star defensive end. Montez Sweat had a massive game against the Arizona Cardinals. If Chase Young can come back against this rebuilt Denver offensive line, that's going to be huge. So awesome to have him back. Very excited. Curtis Samuel also on the injury report with hip issues. He's questionable, but most likely going to play. Chase Young will be playing on a pitch count, which is what we saw last season when he returned in San Francisco. The thing about Chase Young is his knee. That was the issue when he was out against the Bucs, and then he suffered the season-ending injury 2 seasons ago. That's all cleared up. He said that's healthy. Now it's just about the stinger. And he was cleared before last game was even played, but he hadn't had any contact, so they didn't want to play him. He is ready to go for this week. Ron said that they always kind of thought he'd be able to come back week 2, but they didn't want to rush him. Just wanted to give him time to heal and develop, because they know what a force he can be when healthy, and he hasn't really been healthy, so he will be back. He's confirmed to play. So excited. I think I'm probably going to wear my Chase Young Washington football team jersey tomorrow when I watch the game. Very excited. Very, very excited. So much to talk about. Nothing really else going on with the news in terms of the Commanders. I watched all the interviews from this week. Nothing to say. We'll talk more about the game and the Broncos preview soon. But yeah, just want to say how much I love Eric Bieniemy. I think he's fun. I think he's funny. I think he's charming. And I think he's an awesome offensive mind. I just love him a lot, but hope everybody enjoyed their week 1 of the NFL season, the Thursday Night Football. Wish the Eagles had lost, because I hate the Eagles, but it's okay. But yeah, can't wait to dive into these notes. I had so much fun watching the film. Just wanted to show you I have a lot of notes. So yeah, let's just dive into the next segment and get started. Alrighty, so here we are in segment 2 of the Command Center episode 8, and we will be talking about the Commanders' Week 1 victory over the Arizona Cardinals. They got the win. The final was 20-16 Commanders, and I've had a lot of questions. Joe, what do you think about the Commanders game? What do you think about the Commanders game? Everybody knows I'm a Commanders fan. I've been preaching how good Sam Howell is going to be forever, and I'll say this. My immediate reaction was disappointment, right? In my last video, I predicted the Washington to get a nice win, 28-7, 28-14. A big win with really no closeness involved. And this game was, close down to the very end. And that wasn't what I predicted, what I had hoped for, or anything like that. And while that disappointment was definitely there at first, I've slowly started to realize, and watching the film has really opened my eyes to the fact that we have a lot to be excited about as Commanders fans. We are in a new age as Commanders fans. Josh Harris is the owner. Ron Rivera has built this culture from laughingstock of the NFL to consistent playoff contender. The defense is revamped. We've got talent all across the board, and we've got a true star potential offensive coordinator and play caller in Eric Bieniemy. And he's got the weapons to do it. And we've got a young quarterback who's got a lot of promise in Sam Howell. So, now that being said, that's the positives. What are the negatives? This game was way too close, and the offense played like garbage. You look at the defense. The defensive performance was top to bottom fantastic. I mean, you allowed 9 points. The only points the Arizona Cardinals had was off a scoop and score on Sam Howell. The defense was fantastic. I mean, sacks across the board, tackles for loss, picks. It was amazing. Fumble recoveries, forced fumbles, beautiful stuff. Defense played lights out, and they didn't even have Chase Young. Montez Sweat was amazing. He was incredible. Emmanuel Forbes was really great. Defense was great, and we'll talk more about that later, but I want to talk about the offense first, because the question has been, since Ron Rivera came into Washington and he established this hard-nosed, tough defense, what's the offense going to do, right? And I think Eric Bieniemy didn't call a great game, right? I think the first half, Washington struggled. And, let's just get right into the numbers first and foremost, because I want to be able to express my thoughts and my disappointment, right? Because this Cardinals defense isn't fantastic, but Washington really struggled. Okay, so let's just break it down offensive by offensive drive. Washington started off, they punted. Then they had a touchdown. Then they threw an interception. Then they fumbled. Punt. Scoop and score because Sam Howell fumbled. Then a field goal. Then a punt. Punt. Touchdown. Punt. Field goal. Punt. So we're looking at 1 negative drive, 2 negative drives, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 negative drives. Negative drive being turnover or punt. Then touchdown. Field goal, touchdown, field goal. 4. So 9 negative drives and 4 positive ones against this Cardinals defense when you have such a tough schedule moving forward. All right. Let's talk about what I liked from the offense. All right. I think Sam Howell played a pretty good game, all in all. I think Sam, when the pressure got to him, he knew how to get rid of it. He didn't force throws. He kept his eyes up, but he'd also take off and run with it. I think the offensive line's getting a lot of hate for the performance in this game. I think the offensive line played well. I think the offensive line maybe struggled a bit in the run game at times in terms of run blocks, but in pass protection, I thought they were pretty fine. I always look for the offensive line because that's something the stats can't really tell you, right? You have to be able to eye it up and size it up. I think Sadiq Charles was good. I think Andrew Wiley was good. I think Charles Leno had a fantastic game. Cosme was good. Gates was okay. I don't think any of them really struggled in pass protection. I think the sacks were caused by Sam Howell. I think that too often in this game, Sam Howell kept his eyes downfield for too long and kept his eyes locked into one read for too long. You'd see countless times, and I watched this on the film breakdown. He'd drop back, and he'd just be there. No movement, no stepping up and climbing in the pocket, because sometimes when you're a quarterback, and you drop back, right? 3-step, 5-step drop back. And the defensive ends are coming and your tackles are right by your side. You have to step up, climb the pocket, get away from them, and give yourself enough time. Howell did not do that. Howell would stay in there, look, and then whip it out. Sometimes he'd throw it too late and the guys would be covered. Sometimes there was one, the ball was tipped, which led to the interception. I think he struggled in terms of kind of getting rid of it quickly, but also at times he did a good job. He saw the pressure was there, threw it away. I think he grew from first half to second half in development fantastically. Now, I want to talk about the play calling, right? And it's kind of going to be like an amalgamation of my thoughts on all this. I don't even know if that's a word, but it's a lot of thoughts at once because I've had a lot to think about and a lot of time to think about this and meditate on it. Eric Bieniemy, I love you. I think you're funny. I think you're charming, and I think you have so much talent. This is not the Kansas City Chiefs, okay? This is not the Kansas City Chiefs. You don't have Patrick Mahomes. You don't have Travis Kelce, and you don't have the Chiefs' offensive line. You don't have Creed Humphrey. You don't have Joe Thuney. You don't have Trey Smith. You don't have Jawan Taylor. You don't have these players, right? You have Andrew Wiley, but Andrew Wiley wasn't even that great. You don't have Orlando Brown, right? He called the game like it was for the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's extremely frustrating, right? He's given Sam Howell these 5-step, 3-step deep drop backs, expecting him to just pick apart these defenses in these high shell safety coverages. Sam Howell, this is essentially his rookie season. He can't do that. And Eric Bieniemy admitted this. He said after the game, I got to realize we're not the Chiefs. You know, this team is built for something different. This is a different type of team. And one thing I love about this Washington offense is you see growth from first half to second half, right? You see the team change and move. Washington started off a balanced offense to start off. Run the ball a little bit and you throw. Some creative screen passes, quick routes, something like that, right? Then, by the third or fourth drive, run game was gone. Non-existent, thrown out the window. Toss the dogs out to dry. Just deep passes, play action, and not even quick, easy completions, right? We're talking about deep shots, middle of the field, stuff like that. No easy underneath stuff for Sam Howell. And all the credit in the world to Sam Howell and this offensive line for keeping it together. Sam Howell is essentially a rookie starting, and he didn't force any throws. He didn't throw a single bad pick. His only interception, I got the notes here. His only interception, he held on to it too long. He missed an open read, and he threw it. But the guy was open. He threw it to an open target, but the ball was tipped and it was picked. Still held on to it for too long, but the ball was picked. So can you even blame him too much? My problem was with Eric Bieniemy in this game. This first half, Brian Robinson, I think, had 4 carries. Absolutely embarrassing. Is that my dog outside? 1 second. Sorry, folks. My dog came in for a little little visit. This is Cosmo. Cosmo, you broke into the Sam Howell breakdown. What are you doing, bud? Come on, 1 second. Sorry about that. He was clawing at the door. I think he wanted to come in, so I had to show him that I was a little bit busy. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed meeting Cosmo. He's adorable. Just barks way too much. So yeah, the offense, the calling was bad. The play calling was bad because it wasn't understanding this team and what we are. First and foremost, the Washington Commanders are a run-first team. Last season, all of their success came with the run game, grounding and pounding the football. Brian Robinson between the tackles, Antonio Gibson inside zones. That's what you need to have happen to make this team successful. And then off of that, you build in the deep shots, you build in the quick plays, the over-the-middle routes. The only reason why we throw over the middle most of the time is because we have Terry McLaurin. That's not what this team's identity is. It's because of the playmakers, right? So, it seems like he kind of forgot what this team is built for, and he was doing too much what he wanted to do. And, you can use these players however you want, but, when you're doing that, the offensive line is not, Charles Leno is not an athletic left tackle. He's not going to be able to run every single play on play action rollouts. Like, you have to understand what we are. We run the football, then we take the nice shots, all right? And that's something we saw happen in the third and fourth quarter, which I really loved. But listen, I thought Howell was fantastic. I really did. He struggled at times, absolutely. But to me, this is almost like his first game ever starting that matters. Against the Cowboys, it didn't mean anything. Howell, listen, he hit open targets. He didn't have any egregious bad throws. He had one egregious bad throw to Terry McLaurin. It was a route in stride. He throws it. Terry was wide open, and he throws it to the defender behind Terry. The defender drops it, so it's okay. Not a pick, but that was really bad. But before that, and after that, nothing. I mean, the pick that was caught was tipped, so I'm not going to blame Sam. But yeah, he held on to it too long at times. He missed open guys, but he was good. He was efficient. He made big plays when we had to. I mean, you look at the touchdown play to Brian Robinson, where he's in the pocket, takes the snap, rolls out left, right? He rolls out left, keeps his eyes up, brings his arm up, brings the linebacker off of Brian Robinson, whips it through 4 Cardinals for the touchdown. That's money. And then later on in the game, where you're down 16-10 and you get the ball back, Howell takes off with it and scrambles into the end zone for a touchdown. In his first 2 games, he's got a throwing touchdown and a rushing touchdown. That's impressive stuff, man. I mean, that's really impressive. But let's run through some stats now, because I just want to discuss kind of the numbers of the team, right? So Howell was 19 for 31 with 202 passing yards, a touchdown, and a pick. He also had 6 sacks. Robinson was 19 for 59. Howell had 2 rushes for 11 yards and a touchdown. Gibson was 3 for 9. Not great. None of the rushers really had a great yards per carry. Not sure why. I think we just didn't run it enough. I mean, Robinson 19 for 59, 3.1 yards a carry. Samuel was our leading receiver, 5 for 54. Thomas had 4 for 43. He got the most targets by far with 8. But he had 2 drops, both on the opening drive, which were really bad. Jahan had 5 for 40. McLaurin only 2 for 31. He also had a deep ball that was beautiful for him, but then there was PI. So they got the PI. So that's basically a completion, but just not on the stats. Turner popped with a huge catch, 1 for 17. Gibby 1 for 10. Robinson 1 for 7. Now, there was a lot of turnovers, right? Antonio Gibson had a fumble that was lost. Sam Howell had a fumble that was lost, returned for a touchdown. Brian Robinson had a fumble that was lost, but then recovered by Jahan Dotson. So listen, what am I trying to say about the offense? The potential is there. You have the playmakers. Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel. I will say Curtis Samuel struggled a little bit. He had a few plays that I didn't love. One play I posted on my Instagram page. I'd say go check it out, the Command Center podcast. Screenplay early on in the game. Out left. Gets it to Samuel. 2 blockers in front of him, Logan Thomas and Jahan Dotson. Samuel can go left, through the middle, or to the right. The defender is on the right. I'm thinking, he's going left or right. He goes right into the defender. Bad play. He also had a rush up the middle. That was okay, but I feel like he's maybe lacking that pop a little bit, that speed. You know, he's dealing with a hamstring, but, you know. But I'm happy with how the offensive line played. I'm happy with how Brian Robinson played. I want to see him get that yards per carry up. But towards the end of the game, they were just doing bully ball up the middle, stuff like that. I want to see Howell with quicker passes, and I want to see better play calling. I want to see more quick stuff, more intermediate stuff, less deep balls, right? Howell should only be looking downfield 2 or 3 times a game. And you should only pull the trigger on it like twice. You can't take too many deep shots this early on in your career. Especially against this Denver secondary we're going against. Patrick Surtain could lock up Terry McLaurin potentially. But nobody locks up Terry, so I don't believe that. Logan Thomas has got to get it together. You bench him for Cole Turner, who I really love. I love Cole Turner. But all in all, I'd say I give the offense a B. They scored when they had to. 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals. Good stuff, right? At the end of the game, they came back from down 16-10 and won 20-16. But I got to see more. Because the defense can't bail you out every time. And you're against the Arizona Cardinals. And one thing we were talking about in our next segment when we discussed the Broncos game is you have to be able to put points up against good defenses. Because your defense can't help you every time, right? Especially with a team that could potentially explode anytime soon. You have Russell Wilson, right? They could have big games. So we'll see. But, all in all, I'm pretty happy with how the offense played. I'm going to give Sam Howell a B+ for his performance. I think he could have done a lot better, but I think he was pretty good. I mean, he did what he had to do to win the game. Eric Bieniemy was saying, like, I know it's not what anybody expected, but we got the win. That's all that matters. And he's right. I want to see Antonio Gibson get a lot better. He really struggled, had a fumble, can't put it on the dirt. Gibby has really struggled with that. But all in all, folks, I think we should be excited, right? Eric Bieniemy, there's offense. There's a lot here to develop and grow with, and I think that we need to be excited about that. So, yeah, pretty good stuff. But now let's talk about the defense, right? Defense was lights out, no question about it. The stats will blow you away. I mean, Montez Sweat was just a beast. You hold the Cardinals to 3 field goals. Their only touchdown came off the fumble return. Cam Thomas sacked and then scooped it up on Sam Howell. So take a look at this defense. Stats. Cam Curl is a monster. 10 total tackles, 6 solo, a tackle for loss, and a pass deflected. Montez Sweat, 5 total tackles, 1.5 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and a QB hit. Jonathan Allen, 4 solo tackles, a sack, 2 tackles for loss, 3 QB hits. James Smith-Williams was amazing. 3 total tackles, 1 solo, 1 QB hit. Percy Butler had a pass deflected. Deron Payne had 2 tackles for loss. Abdullah Anderson was awesome as a backup defensive tackle. Half a sack, a tackle for loss, and a QB hit. Really impressive stuff. I mean, really impressive stuff. I was very happy with the defense. I mean, they were awesome. I will say I'm a bit worried because I feel like, watching the film, it feels like this is the way the defense has been for years now. If the play gets past the defensive line, if they can't blow it up, it's going to the secondary. Our linebacking core is sometimes non-existent. I love Jamin Davis, and I thought he was awesome. Cody Barn was atrocious. And this was amplified. I was looking here at the PFF ratings, right? We'll look through it. Best PFF ratings on offense. Charles Leno, 78.2. Cole Turnell, 73.3. Cosme, 71.1. Andrew Wiley, 69.9. Curtis Samuel, 68.5. Don't agree with that one. On defense, best ratings. Jonathan Allen, 90.2. Abdullah Anderson, 88.8. Awesome. Montez Sweat, 86.4. James Smith-Williams, 79. This defensive line has depth like crazy. Cam Curl, 77.9. He's going to need a big contract soon. And then bad ratings on offense. I don't agree with this, but Sadiq Charles, 55.6. Logan Thomas, 55.1. I agree with that. Diami Brown, 53.6. John Bates, 49.9. He was bad. Got penalized. Antonio Gibson, 39.3. Really bad. He fumbled. Defense, bad ratings. Jonathan Ridgeway, 62.9. Derek Forrest, 62.8. Andre Jones, the 7th-round rookie, 60.9. He had a really bad play. He completely missed the guy. Benjamin St. Juste, 59.5. Cody Barnes, this one's really bad, 37.3. This is what we talked about, folks. He's not athletic. He's a run stopper. We need more linebacking help because it feels like if a play gets past the defensive line, it's going to the secondary. And we've got a great secondary now. Cam Curl, Derek Forrest, Kendall Fuller, Benjamin St. Juste. Emmanuel Forbes was lights out. Cam Curl dropped a pick. So did Forbes. I think maybe St. Juste did too. Somebody else dropped a pick. The depth is there. Jertavius Martin, Percy Butler. I love it. But the linebackers are weak. Cody Barton, your second starting linebacker, he's not good, bro. He's not athletic. I'm not happy with his performance at all. He's got to get better. Very frustrating stuff. But when you have so much time to think about a game, I watched the film. I watched every single play over. I'm pretty happy with it. It's a good win. 1-0 to start the season. And now we go into Denver. And, just defense has got to keep it together. Got to do their thing. Chase Young's being back is a huge help. And the offense has to step it up. But I expect better play calling. I expect to really have an identity start to emerge from this team. And, I can't wait to see it. But very happy with the offense all in all. Could have been a lot better, but defense was lights out. Very happy with that. But, yep, that's going to be it for our recap against the Cardinals. We will now go into our breakdown for next week's game not next week, tomorrow's game against the Denver Broncos, and predictions for that and keys to the game. So I'll see you in the next segment. Here to the Command Center, episode 8. My name is Joseph Henry. Hope you guys are enjoying this episode so far. Just going to wrap up with a little breakdown of this Broncos-Commanders game. So the Broncos 0-1 on the season so far, lost their first game to the Raiders 16-17. They were up 16-0 with 8:57 in the fourth quarter. And then they blew the lead. The Raiders went down and scored with about 6 minutes left, and then the Broncos couldn't get anything done. Russell Wilson was 27 for 34 on the day, but only 177 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. He had 1 carry for 1 yard also, and then Javonte Williams had 13 carries for 52 yards. Samaje Perine had 8 for 41 and also 4 receptions for 37 yards, who was their second leading receiver, their first being Cortland Sutton with only 40-plus receiving yards. For the game, tight end Greg Dulcich and Frank Clark, pass rusher, are both out. Kareem Jackson, the safety, had 1 pick. The team had no sacks, 3 QB hits, and only 1 tackle for loss, so nobody was really getting home. Gonna have to watch out for Randy Gregory, the old Dallas pass rusher on this one. DJ Jones on the defensive line. Not too ferocious. Obviously didn't get anything done against a kind of so-so Las Vegas offensive line. They made the offensive line look pretty good. They were like PFF's highest rated offensive line. So I feel like Denver's got to figure out their defense. I know that their defensive coordinator, I think his name is VJ. Not sure, but he's very close friends with Eric Bieniemy, so it's nice that they've got a good relationship there. Hopefully that we can take advantage of that for the Washington. And also Jerry Jeudy will play in this game. The wide receiver first-round pick from a few years ago was out with injury, but he will be playing in this game. Also, I want to highlight some of the free agent acquisitions the Broncos had. Right tackle Mike McGlinchey from the 49ers, and then left guard Ben Powers, who was, I believe, on the Baltimore Ravens. So 2 good pieces of the offensive line. Their offensive line should be pretty solid. They got Garrett Bowles at left tackle, then Powers at guard, and then center Lloyd Cushenberry, right guard Quinn Miners, and then right tackle McGlinchey. So Washington's pass rush is going to have to get home against this offensive line, which is pretty good. So what are the keys to the game in this one, right? First and foremost, stop the big play for the Washington defense. It looks like this Broncos team was efficient, 27 for 34, then also like 4.7 yards per carry for the team. Good, very good stuff. But no big plays. Nothing long. I think the longest reception was about 20 yards. You know, Russ had 2 touchdowns, but only 177 passing yards. Nothing crazy. It seems like they haven't really unlocked that deep playability yet as a team. Sean Payton's probably trying to work up Russ's confidence. You know, obviously last season, things did not go how they expected. So he's probably trying to, you know, come in as a first-year head coach in this team. You know, he's also been on the Saints in many, many years prior, won a Super Bowl with them. And trying to unlock that big play ability. I don't know if we trust Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson was really bad last season, and he's got to kind of fix him up. It's like a home improvement project. But, you know, Washington's got to contain the big play for this Broncos team. Then also, score over 18 points. I saw a stat the other day. The last few years, the Broncos have lost, I think last season, they lost like 6 or 7 games because they didn't score more than 18 points. This Broncos offense, you know, they've proven not to be explosive, like I said. So the defense has to contain the big play from them. Absolutely can't give them any quick, easy scores. Make them force their way downfield and be efficient against you with this defense. And then also, you have to put up at least 20 points. And, you know, Washington did this against the Cardinals, and they're going to have to be careful throwing the football in this one because this secondary is loaded. Kareem Jackson, Pat Surtain, these are big, powerful, you know, players that really know what to do. So Washington's got to be careful. They got to, you know, pass accordingly. I'd say target the linebackers. Josie Jewell and Alex Singleton. I think you can pick on those guys a little bit with Terry and Jahan and the short routes and the flats. B-Rob taking on these linebackers. You know, this defensive line is kind of weak. With Frank Clark out, DJ Jones, Randy Gregory. These guys aren't big-time players, but they can pop once in a while. So you got to be able to control them and just don't let them get to the quarterback. You got to run the ball, come out, be committed. So, yeah, 2 keys. 1, restrict the big play defensively, and then offensively, put up some points. You got to score in this one. And then first and foremost, you know, better play calling, right? We saw this with the offense last game. The play calling wasn't great. Got to be balanced. Got to stick to your guns. The team may in the future become a pass-first team with Eric Bieniemy as offensive coordinator, but it's a slow progression. Howell isn't there yet. you got to give him time to grow and develop in the system and figure out how best to use his talents. And take 1 or 2 deep shots a game. You can use that play action to move him around mobily, but don't have him throw any crazy one-on-one balls to Terry against Pat Surtain if you don't get a good look. You got to restrict it, take things the right way, don't overthink it. Listen, Washington has not started 2-0 since 2011. And most teams, I saw a stat about this, that go into Denver for week 2 lose. I think they're like 0-7 the past 3 seasons. The air is thinner up there. It's harder to play. Just run the football. Take the energy out of this Broncos team. I think that they can do it. They just got to stick to their guns, take things simple. Sean Payton is a Super Bowl winning head coach. Ron Rivera's matched up against him countless times from their time in the NFC South. They know what they're doing. Just take it one play at a time. Don't overthink it, and realize that you're going to be in this game till the end. There's going to be a game in the fourth quarter, and Washington's going to have to close it out. So they got to give it their all. I didn't think Washington was going to win this early on against Sean Payton, but the more I think about it, I thought their team looked really good week 1. And I think the Broncos looked a little bit lifeless. Nothing crazy. I know the spreads, Broncos are favored 3.5. I don't know. I think Washington's going to get the win in this one. I didn't at first, but I think Washington's going to get the win and start off 2-0. Call me crazy, but I think they're going to win a close one. I think they'll win 23-19, 23-20, something like that. I think they know what to do, and I think they're going to be much improved from last week. Sam knows how to react and develop. We've seen him before. He comes in, he has a bad play, he bounces back. He didn't have the best game last week. I think he's going to be much improved and really have a really good game against this Broncos team and defensive line that can't really get to him. And I think he's going to pick apart the middle of the field. I think he's smart. He knows not to throw it against Pat Surtain and Kareem Jackson and all these guys. I think it's going to be a good game for him. And I think the defense is going to contain. I think Emmanuel Forbes looked great. I think the secondary is solid. Linebacking core has got to get better. Can't let them pick you over the middle of the field, and they love that dink and dunk stuff, so you're going to have to lock that down. But, I'm going to take Washington to win this one 23-20. I think it's going to be a good close win. I think they're going to, start off the season 2-0. Looking pretty good. But that is all today, folks. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Command Center. Make sure you're following me on Twitter at the Command Center Podcast and Instagram. Hope you guys are enjoying. It's been a fun week. So excited for football. Hope you guys are having a good time. Nothing better than sitting down, eating snacks, watching football. So hope everybody's good. Thank you so much for watching. As always, like, subscribe, make sure to share and comment. I love talking to you guys about the Commanders. So everybody, let's have a good one, and let's get this W tomorrow against the Denver Broncos. Who are we? The Commanders. Left hand up. A little bit cringy, but definitely accurate. I love that song. Anybody that doesn't listen to that song, that's so fire. But the left hand up, who are we, Commander song. But listen, hope everybody's having a good time. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Love you all. And I'll see you in the next time. Live from the Command Center. It is the Command Center with Joseph Henry. I'll see you for the next one.